Hi everyone, and welcome to the next foil review. Today we're going to review the Z foil. Z fins have been around for quite a while. It's an Estonian company and they have been making windsurfing fins for quite some time. Most of the windsurfing slalom guys will know this brand. A lot of the top riders use Z fins. There's a huge waiting list for their fins. So if you want to go fast in windsurfing, you're typically going to be on a Z fin. They were also quite big in the good old Formula kite scene. A lot of the guys on the composite fins were on Z fins. 2 years ago they decided to get into the kite foiling market, and now they finally brought out a really competitive race foil. Alright, so let's get into some general specs and dimensions. The Z foil is a two-piece foil, which means a mast and a wing section, just like the mic slab and the banga. This is great for performance and stiffness, not so great for traveling. This foil weighs exactly 3 kilograms. It has a tapered mast, which means it starts thick at the top near the board and gets thinner as you progress down towards the fuselage. The mast is 110 centimeters long. It's actually 108 centimeters from the plug, from the board, down to the fuselage. The 110 is including the fuselage. The chord of the mast at its widest point here is 130 millimeters. Down at its thinnest point, it's 105 millimeters. The mast has a profile depth of 18 millimeters at its thickest point up here, and at its thinnest point down here of 11.9 millimeters. The front wing has got a bit of a gull wing anhedral shape. It is 660 millimeters span tip to tip and 110 millimeters chord. The back wing has a dihedral, just like the Levitas Bionic. It has a span of 320 millimeters tip to tip and a chord of 7.8 millimeters on the center. The distance between the front wing and the back wing is 508 millimeters, trailing edge of the front wing, leading edge of the back wing. The fuselage, meaning front of the wing to the back of the back wing, is 700 millimeters, so 70 centimeters in length. The stabilizer angle on this is fixed, and it's fixed at 2.3 degrees. The Z foil comes standard with a deep tuttle head. This is the only option that you can get. The connection point between the mast and the fuselage is very clean. It's got the similar system to what the mic slab has, which is sort of a wedge shape that fits onto the fuselage and is fixed by 3 M6 bolts that go into the mast. I do have to say it came with 3 different lengths of screws, each of which fit exactly into like a specific hole. So that's a bit strange. Yep, and that is a bit of a pain in the ass when you're putting it together. It's best when you mark your screws somehow, color coded or something, to know which hole to put them in. You also get a set of covers. Yep, one for the wing, one for the mast. They're quite nice and high quality. Just the fact that they're sort of built sort of very square. They don't offer a lot of protection for the wing tips of the foil. So I would tend to say to get yourself something a bit more protection orientated. Something, for example, like the Moses covers, or like what Banga made. So first of all, let me talk about the quality. I will start by saying the quality of the lamination is extremely good. The stiffness of the mast is amazing. It had very, very little flex. This is probably one of the stiffest masts you can get on the market. Now, in regards to finish, this is pretty similar to what my Bango was last year. There was a lot of pinholes. There's a lot of pinholes, so which means it comes out of the mold. They're not doing a lot of finishing, extra finishing on it, so not a lot of fillering before they send it to you. That said, even with all the pinholes that were on here, I did not have ventilation problems, and I didn't have that much of a speed deficit between the unfinished and after I finished it and fillered everything. There was only like a 1 or 2 knot difference in the top speed. So it actually is one of the best foils out of the box, even though it is full of pinholes. But that said, after I fillered the mast, I saw that this had the most pinholes I've ever seen in any foil I've ever tested. Again, I'd like to stress that it made virtually no difference on ventilation, filling the pinholes or not. So you can still take this foil straight out of the box with all the pinholes in it and ride and still have no problems riding it. So let's talk a bit about performance. Straight out of the box, even with all the pinholes, this foil was extremely fast, and it did not have any ventilation problems, making it the best foil so far, straight out of the box, for performance. After I fillered it and finished it, it gave me about 2 knots more speed downwind, and about, I'd say about a knot more upwind. Let's talk about general performance now. Now on the race course, upwind, this is the fastest foil I've ever tested, especially in light wind. My most surprising moment was when I took this foil out, extremely underpowered, 5 to 6 knots, really underpowered on my 19-meter Ozone R1 V2. Current going with the wind. I was hitting speeds between 24 and 25 knots upwind, with a VMG of about 17.5, which I've never been able to do when the wind has been that light. On the Banga, my maximum in this type of conditions, it's around 22.5, 23 knots, like max speed, and that's really pushing it, and already I get ventilation problems. On the mic slab, it was about the same. Those are about the same speeds. With this, I was hammering upwind. I was thinking, oh my God, the wind must be a lot stronger than it is. But then, stopping, the kite's pretty much falling out of the sky. The wind hadn't changed. So upwind, this is amazing. Now, however, downwind, it's not that great. Unfortunately, downwind, the back wing seems to have a bit of an issue on stability. The maximum downwind speed I got in this foil was about 34 knots, which is pretty fast. However, compared to the Banga and the mic slab, which I can get to speeds close to 38 knots, there's something missing. And this is because the back wing is a bit twitchy. I think the dihedral design and the profile choice of the back wing for downwind is not as good. Somehow it feels like the wash from the front wing is interfering with the back wing. So once you get above 30 knots, you have this feeling that the foil is dropping down, and you have to compensate that. So yeah, on a race course, that can cost you. However, upwind, you are going to gain on that. So you have sort of plus and minus. I know that Z-foils are already developing the next generation of this foil, so I'm pretty sure that's one of the things they're going to address. In regards to general free riding, jumping and ease of use, this foil is really good. This is one of the foils which is really easy to land jumps on. It nicely locks in as soon as you hit the water, and your success rate of actually landing a jump foiling is very high. It reminded me a lot of jumping the Mike slab. That one was sort of the same for me. I could, especially with bigger kites, land foiling a lot easier than, for example, with the Banga or with the Moses. In regards to maneuvers, tacks are really, really easy with this foil. It glides through really nicely. It gives you time even if you make a small mistake with your front feet. Really nice and easy. On jibes, same thing. As you have a lot of glide in this foil and a lot of roll stability, you can take your time switching your feet, carving it around. In regards to general freeride riding, it's also quite a nice and easy foil. The pitch and roll stability at medium speeds is amazing. You can do rodeos on it, tacks, 180s, all these tricks, and the foil really works well. Heavier riders will also like this foil because of the great performance of the wing, and also because the mast is so stiff that you get very little bend in the mast when you're pushing it. In conclusion, the Z foil is probably the fastest race foil you can get for light wind conditions on an upwind course. It's let down on the downwind course a little bit by its back wing design. However, jumping it, riding it, and in general, it is a very, very good foil. Can you win a race on it? Probably. Are you going to be able to compete with the top 5 guys in the world? Probably not. But again, Z-foils are developing a new foil, so I'm looking forward to see if they manage to get rid of that small downwind problem. And if they do, this is probably going to be one of the most competitive foils you can get. Okay, I hope you liked this review, and I hope it helped you decide on buying a Z-foil or not. If you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to ask them down in the comment section below. And of course, if you like our content and you want us to keep producing, please click the subscribe button down here, and remember to click on the notifications so that you get notified every time we upload a new video. Thanks for your time, thanks for listening, see you on the water, rock on.